Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I will recap the French movie titled The Intouchables. The film opens and we see two men, Philippe and Driss, sitting in their car. Driss starts driving the car at high speed despite following the traffic rules, due to which they are surrounded by the police. Driss comes out of the car, and when the officer orders Philippe to come out, Driss reveals that he is handicapped and they can find a wheelchair in the back of their car to confirm the truth. The officer finds the car and Philippe starts pretending to be sick. Driss discloses that he is taking him to the hospital, which is why he failed to follow the traffic rules. He blackmails the officers by stating that Philippe can die if they follow protocols, and manage to get escorted by the police to the hospital. After they reach the hospital and the police go inside, Driss and Philippe escape from there. The movie switches to a few months ago, where Driss can be seen in an interview. It is revealed that an interview is being conducted by Philippe and his assistant Magali to find a caretaker for Philippe. They call a few participants while Driss gets sick of waiting and enters the room without being called. He talks to Magali and Philippe and informs them that he wants his paper signed, mentioning that he has applied for the job, but they are not interested in him. Philippe finds him interesting and asks him to get his paper the next morning. Driss leaves and gets back to his home, where he lives with his many siblings, and notices his brother Adama with some drug suppliers. On being asked by Driss, Adama lies to him about being at school. After a while, Driss's mother arrives at home and gets mad at him for not contacting her for 6 months. He tries to give her a kinder egg that he has stolen from Philippe's house, but it makes her more furious, and she throws him out of her house. He spends the night with homeless people. The next morning, he reaches Philippe's house, and one of Philippe's workers, Yvonne, shows him the room where he is supposed to live if he accepts being Philippe's caretaker. He looks at the room and finds it a dream come true for him. He is shocked after looking at the bathtub in his washroom. Yvonne informs him of being expected by Philippe. Driss reaches the room where Philippe is getting treatment by his doctors. Philippe looks at him and reveals that his paper has been signed. But before Driss can leave, Philippe taunts him about living on someone else's back and states that he wants to try him for a month, while betting that he will not last for weeks. Driss accepts the job and shifts to Philippe's house. He is excited, looking at the luxuries he has been offered in his room. The next morning, Driss starts his training, and Marcel teaches him how to take care of Philippe. She makes him learn all of the exercises to be performed on his limbs and shows him how to make him sit in his wheelchair properly. After that, Driss gives him a bath when he is about to use his foot cream on his head, but Marcel reaches there and guides him. Following that, Philippe orders Marcel to leave for her lunch and asks Driss to put stockings on his legs to keep the blood from reaching his legs. Driss denies it at first, but he has to do it while Philippe makes fun of him. At night, Philippe's daughter comes with his boyfriend where Driss is eating, and he requests them to have some privacy. Driss starts putting boiled water on Philippe's leg to check whether he can feel anything or not, and then he is spotted by Marcel, who orders him not to do it again. Driss helps Philippe to read his letter, and some letters appear to be in his collection. The next morning, when Driss is busy having a bath, Yvonne comes to his room and finds a knife and a few other things in his bag. Instead of loading Philippe in the back of his van, and he takes him to an art gallery in his car. When the main door opens, Philippe complains about his neighbor, who always parks in front of his house. Driss handles the situation by warning the man never to park again in their place. Yvonne notices this and gets scared. Philippe reaches an art gallery where he keeps staring at a painting with random red paint for a long time, provoking Driss's curiosity. Driss becomes more passionate about painting when Philippe buys the same painting for 41 grand. After buying the painting, Philippe meets his cousin in a restaurant while Driss keeps waiting outside. His cousin tells him that Yvonne has informed him that he has some history with the police and is violent. He requests him to not keep such kind of person at his home. Philippe replies to him that he is strong and his brain works perfectly. Although he is not very compassionate, he is perfect for him. He also mentions that he is not concerned about his past. At night, Driss is seen sitting with Yvonne when he listens to Philippe, who is busy writing his letter to Magali. He questions Yvonne about it, and she discloses that Philippe writes letters to a woman, Eleanor, and she replies to him. He wonders why he has not seen her in this house, but Yvonne informs him that they just talk to each other through their letters. Driss finds this interesting and leaves after irritating Yvonne about their gardener, Albert. Driss awakens from his sleep and listens to Philippe breathing barely. He immediately rushes to his room and checks what is wrong. Philippe informs him that he wants fresh air. Driss puts him in the wheelchair and takes him out. Philippe states that it has been a long time since he last visited Paris at night. He talks to him about the phantom pain seizures that he gets as a result of medicines, but these are normal, just causing him to suffer. Philippe takes him to a restaurant where Philippe talks to him about his wife Alice, who is a young and elegant lady. He mentions his love for her and the miscarriages they had, and finally, she died of a terminal illness. He talks about the incident when he was paragliding that caused him to damage his vertebral column, leading him to be handicapped for the rest of his life. Philippe then reveals that he has won his bet and now officially has joined him, but he demands the egg back that Driss has stolen from his house. Following that, Driss reaches his sister Mina's school and makes her sit in his van. Mina is mad at him for not replying to her text, but he makes an excuse of being busy with his work and questions her about the egg. She discloses that she is unaware of it. Driss gets his brother out of jail and gets mad at him for keeping bad company, but he does not listen to him. This time, Driss accompanies Philippe and Magali while writing the letter when he gets impatient and decides to dial Eleanor's numbers thinking that she is interested in him. He finds out that Eleanor is from Dunkirk and dials her number, which is written in a letter, and makes them both talk to each other on the phone instead of writing letters. Following that, Driss and Philippe are seen at the theater where they watch a show. But before the show can start, Driss tries to make Philippe understand that he should send his picture to her in return for asking her for a picture. If she is interested, she will send her picture, otherwise his time will be saved. The show starts and Driss starts laughing at the man dressed as a tree and singing a song. In the evening time, Driss asks Philippe to select a picture to send to Eleanor and shows some of his pictures. In the following scene, Driss gets busy in his painting when Philippe's daughter, Elisa, comes there asking him for cigarettes, but Driss gets mad at her and makes her get out of his room. Later, he complains to Philippe about her and requests him to get her straight. Driss and Philippe start enjoying their time with each other, and Philippe talks to his daughter and warns her to respect everyone around him, otherwise she will have to face consequences. After they buy a new wheelchair for Philippe, Driss receives a call from Yvonne, who informs him about Philippe's birthday, which he calls an annual check by his family to see whether he is alive or not. Philippe is seen at his birthday party when Driss sits with Magali and proclaims that she is looking beautiful, and she also passes comments on him. After that, he goes to see Elisa in her room and finds her crying in her bed. On being asked, she reveals that she has been ditched by her boyfriend, Bastien, and offers to pay Driss if he helps her get Bastien back. Driss agrees to help her in a scene with Yvonne when he talks to her about Magali and promises to make Magali fall in love with him. Philippe asks the band to play the music of his choice, but Driss does not like him. Driss then plays his favorite music and makes everyone dance with him. At night, he puts Philippe on the bed and gives him a parcel from Eleanor, stating that he does not want to spoil the suspense, which is why he decides to give it to him first. Driss opens the packet and looks at her picture. Driss is shocked to find her pretty, and Philippe laughs at him. The next day, Eleanor informs Philippe about her arrival in Paris and that they can see each other. Yvonne and Driss decide on Philippe's dressing, and Philippe is seen waiting for Eleanor at a restaurant with Yvonne. They keep waiting for her for 2 hours, but she does not appear there. On the other hand, Driss finds Bastien and threatens him to treat Elisa well, and then he goes and looks at his mother working hard to make a living. Philippe orders Yvonne to contact Driss and calls him to meet him. As they leave the hotel, Eleanor enters and they both end up not seeing each other. Philippe and Driss get into Philippe's private jet and reach a paragliding site in the morning. They have a good time there, while Driss was first afraid of paragliding. When they get back home, Yvonne informs Driss about his brother Adama, who is here to meet him. Driss finds him injured and inquires about what has happened to him, but he does not tell him anything. Driss takes Adama to his room and tells his mother that he is safe here and no one is going to kill anyone, while Philippe keeps listening to him. After Driss returns to Philippe, he discloses that he knows Adama is here to take him back home. He states that Adama is his brother, but he reveals that his mother is not his real mother. She is her aunt who has adopted him because she had no children. But after a while, she became pregnant and started making her babies, due to which he had to suffer. He tells him that Driss is not his real name and leads him to bed. The next morning, Magali brings her lesbian partner to his room and informs him that they are going to replace him. He realizes that this is the reason why she is not interested in her and leaves after meeting Yvonne, who hands over him a booklet. Philippe keeps watching him while leaving and gets very sad. On his way back home with Adama, he opens the booklet and finds Philippe's picture inside it, which he puts inside his jacket. They reach the railway station, where they meet their mother and help her reach home. Philippe hires another caretaker, while Driss is seen spending his time in the neighborhood and helping his brother get out of trouble with the drug dealers. He goes to another interview and impresses the interviewer with his sense of humor. On the other hand, Philippe ruins himself and does not like any one of his new caretakers. After a few days, Driss arrives at his home and meets Philippe, who gets comfortable after finding him in front of his eyes. The scene then switches to the beginning of the movie, and we see that is how they plan to be escorted by the police to reach the hospital. From the hospital, they reach Dunkirk. Driss takes him to the ocean and shaves his beard while trying different styles and making fun of how he looks. Driss then takes him to a restaurant and leaves, informing him that he cannot stay for lunch with him, which shocks Philippe. Driss reveals that he is going to have a date here, while Philippe is unable to understand what is going on and gets sad after Driss leaves him alone. After Driss leaves him, Eleanor appears there and Philippe gets very happy after seeing her. Philippe then starts talking to her. We are told that this movie is based on a true story and the real Philippe and Driss are still very good friends of each other till the present day, and the movie ends here. Thank you for watching our movie recap. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated with our latest content. See you in the next recap.